Okay, guys, I decided out of the goodness of my heart, I would show you guys how to put this back together, just for shits and giggles. Because I'm sure a bunch of you are gonna cry like a bitch that I wouldn't tell you the super duper secret. So, the one I just rebuilt is on my truck right now. This I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take the parts from this. Oops, take the parts from this one, which is a good motor, but unfortunately has the bracket busted off, and just show you how it goes back together. By the way, keep in mind, once you rebuild one of these, you're still going to occasionally have to, and this is just part of the design of it, sometimes when you turn the air supply on, you're going to have to press your reset button and let it go. So make sure that guy is loose. That one's good though. Sometimes like I said, sometimes that treadle valve is just toasted, but I don't think this is rebuildable. Like I said, they all are, as you can see here, it's a glued together unit. And then, of course, like these are then melted, so you really can't get them apart. So good luck with that. But also I want to show you a little modification that I do on this transfer plate here with a drill bit. Just open the holes up a little bit because it seems that sometimes the transfer ports are a little too small. So, all right. So anyway, we'll just throw all these pieces over here for now. Get our drill. We'll get our power drill here. We'll we'll yank this one apart real fast here. So, all right. So pop that off. Finish taking these screws out. Throw these screws in there. We're gonna wind up reusing some of them. And we're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have that pinion screw in there. This is a little sticky, but see that pinion screw? Pull that out of there. Like I said, then sadly, this is a brand new wiper motor, but unfortunately, I guess came with a parts lot I bought. So anyway, take your shaft out of here. Pinion, good shaft. And then you've got your rack attached to the piston. Take your flathead gently. Don't damage those gears. Pop that out. Now again, you can see this one. See how it's all gritty and old packing grease and dirt and so like I said, that's 99% of the problems it seems that I find is it's just crud in there. Yeah. All right. This mixed a lot of parts. We're gonna put this back together. Do make sure you note. Do notice that some of them are different. There are different motor manufacturers. Okay. So notice. All right. These cylinders are the same, right? But that's why I just checked. Notice these two pistons are not the same. Okay. So make sure you keep the same piston that came out of the body you had. I don't think it's going to make a big difference in the end because it's all going to come down to the housing. See the newer style here has this style treadle valve. See how this one's spaced out for a shorter throw, and this one doesn't have that spacer, right? So you can still use the mismatched bodies, but you can't do is mismatch the pistons to this type of treadle valve. Okay, because see the difference there? It's got this little step up, which is going to take up for the difference in throw of this piston. So just keep an eye on that. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I'm going to use this valve body because this one is broken, and but because I'm going to use this treadle valve, this valve body housing, I'm going to use this piston rack. Now, some of the piston racks, see this, the shorter one has this little nipple. Remember, this is for the plastic motors, by the way. I don't have a metal one to show you how they go together and all. It's kind of the same concept, though. But anyway, see this little alignment nub? All right, when you put the other ones together, what you're going to want to do is pay attention to that alignment nub. It's used for clocking the rack when you put it together. In other words, that makes sure you're dead center. These ones have a little mark. And it's supposed to have a little paint mark. So, all right. Anyway, let me throw this together here. I'm not gonna like get into a fucking explanation. So, all right. You know this one's good, so we're gonna reuse this. So I'm not gonna take this apart because we know this one was good. There's not really much sense in it. But I'll take this apart later and show you how to modify the valve plate to work a little smoother in case the casting holes are not that well cast because they're very tiny. Opening them up can definitely give you better wiper performance, but the wipers will move a little faster than factory setting. So, all right. So anyway, you're going to clean your little O-rings here. Get that nice and clean. Ew, old grease. You know, like I said, I got a little bit of air tool oil here. You don't want to get crazy with the oil. You know, again, anything that goes in this system's got to come back out the system. So you get crazy and you smear a ton of oil in here, it's going to clog up the valve body. It's going to leak out the vent. It's going to be all grody. So don't get crazy with that. All right. And we're going to stick at your window here. You want your rack sticking up in line with that window. Clean some of this grodiness off. Interesting. All right, these might have it. There we go. There we go. Let's see, some of these O-rings are shot. I'll be pissed. There we go. All right, so now she's in there. Moves back and forth. Now, you know what? This actually may not interchange. It looks like this back plate is also stepped. So no big deal. I guess we're going to take this apart. I was hoping wouldn't have to, but all right, pull that out. That's all going to go with this body, basically parts pile. All right, so as I suspected, I guess the housing is this is also stepped in. So we're going to have to maintain this plate here. So I guess I will show you how this valve body comes apart. So here's your valve body. Pull these two screws. You got a gasket here. Try to save that. These old cork gaskets. Like I said, I don't know if you can buy these. Now you got this valve housing here. We're going to take a razor. We're going to gently. There we go. I always like to save O-ring or gaskets. So now that's apart. You can see this is your transfer plate. It's kind of like the if you ever done an automatic transmission, it would be called a separator plate. Clean this off here. This doesn't look too bad. Now we're going to pull apart this valve body here, and what we're going to do is we're going to reuse the treadle valve from the other box, but we're going to have to use this transfer plate. All right, so pull them out. All these screws are the same, so there's no sense of getting all anal about, oh no, what screw was that? I don't know. They're all the fucking same. All right, pull that transfer plate off. All right, now this is the other treadle valve. This is the broken one. Honestly, it would work. It's just, it's got a vent fucked up, and I figured for the purpose of this video, I wanted to show you how to do some swapping, do some modding. All right, now if you look on this this transfer plate, you'll see here two ports. This is the port for one direction. This is the port for the other direction. These ones look nice. These are cast well, so I'm not going to fuck with them. But if they were, you can take a drill bit. Oh, that's not the one. Here we go. You can take a drill bit. This is a size, I don't know, let me get my micrometer here. This is a 1.6 millimeter or 0.625 inch, aka 1/16 of an inch drill bit. So you can take your 1/16 drill bit and you can just run it through these holes. And of course, I won't waste your time using a drill. It's just polypropylene or might be high density HDPE, but just run it through these guys here and woo, clean it up. Same thing with here. Just drill it out, clean it up a little. You're just trying to clean them up. Make sure you don't have any little plastic particles in there. All right. So they're cleaned up. Like I said, some of these I've seen the ends. They're almost closed up because they're so poorly cast, the plastic. All right, so we're good. This transfer body gasket, this transfer valve gasket or transfer plate gasket looks good. So we're going to actually use this one instead of this one because this one looks a little jive. I don't like it. I mean, I'll save it in the parts bin. You know, it might be an emergency one day, but it just looks like a lot lower quality cork. So heavier density particles. So we're going to throw that over here. All right, ends there with our treadle valve. So now we're going to take this transfer plate. We're going to put it on. Look at that. I don't really like how that looks. Might jive with that a little bit. Clean that up with a razor blade because you want this housing to be flat. And there's just a little bulge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm just going to clean it up. Most likely during assembly, it looks to me most likely somebody tightened the screws just a little too hard. So we're going to clean up the plastic around that. There. All right. Take out some of that bulge. Same thing on this screw hole. Take out some of this bulge. Just so when we put the plate together, it's got a flush surface. All right. Now we're going to line up our housing. You can pretty much see these transfer ports here. They'll line up with these transfer ports. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you can't figure it out, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing this. So let's get that right there. Looks like I got a well-formed nipple here. Let's clean that up a little bit with our finger. All right, get that together. Oh, there we go. That's a nice fit. Now, again, we're using the other style valve plate that's offset, so we'll put our stepper plate in there. Put our screws back in. I'm not going to tighten them with my screw gun. I'm just going to put them in. Probably helps if I get things lined up here. There we go. Bing bong ching chong, you know. Oh, pain in the butt. Yep. Oh. All right. All right. Well, we're gonna have to, since I'm swapping plates over from different manufacturers, we're gonna have to shimmy this. I'm wondering if this won't even interchange. This might be a pain in the butt. Let's see here. Fucking Chinese, and they love fucking making stuff just a little different. I wonder if we can take that. You know what? This gasket, this guy actually got a rip in it anyway, so this isn't gonna work. We're gonna have to use the other gasket. Man, it figures I make a video and it's like all hell breaks loose, you know? Now, we got just a little bit different bolt holes here. It's probably why our screw holes were bulged. There we go. And we'll tighten it up with a hand screwdriver. Like I said, a standard setup here is actually a lot easier when you're just throwing together the same parts. Unfortunately, I am trying to mix and match parts to save a motor because I don't feel like throwing. All right, so you're going to slide. We'll come back to this, of course, but throw this in the parts bin. You're going to slide your rack in. We didn't oil it. Oh, no. A little bit of oil on there. This O-ring. This O-ring. The reason I'm making this video is because I wanted you to see one go together, but I also wanted you to see how to time it, because you do have to time the pump or time the rack. All right. so can we reuse this transfer gasket? Let's see which one we're going to use here. So you got your 3 ports. I'm going to clean that up. This one here is one of those. It's not a very good hole. I don't know where my razor blade went. Figures if I can put stuff down. Oh, here we go. So now, oh, by the way, there's 3 port nipples. See this one here, here, and here. The middle of the trio is the only one that actually does anything. These are alignment nipples. So just worry about cleaning up this lower one, this middle one. The other ones can be all smashed and useless, and they don't fucking do anything. All right, so now take a look at your gasket here. You'll see there's a spot with 3 holes. So obviously that goes in. Make sure all the holes line up. Again, if you can't handle doing that, you probably shouldn't be doing this work. There's just certain things that I don't feel like explaining to people. So we got that prepped. Now to time your pump. You're going to take your shaft. Make sure these are, yeah, these are identical. So all right, going to throw our shaft in. I'll put a little bit of oil on that shaft. Doodly doo. Doesn't hurt, right? All right, she's good. All right, so now we got that. Here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to set your piston up. All right, you're going to get it out here as far as you can. So basically, the first, see how your O-ring here, a flashlight, but you see how your O-ring is just starting to show through, starting to line up with the edge of that block. So get it to where your block is flush. My camera's not that good. See how she's just flush now? So you got that flush. You're going to throw in your rack or your pinion gear. All right, you got that in there. Now, when this is all set up and lined up properly, what's going to happen is your piston will engage on the last tooth of that rack. So then you'll pull this out and be like, oh, okay, it's on the last tooth, right? And we go all the way over. Now see, that goes all the way over there. Bring her back. And then you put your screw back in here. Doo-doo-doo. All right, so we've got our piston going all the way. See how that works? And then here's your piston going in and out. Now, like I said, this one, it takes a little bit of checking here because, like I said, it's not, you got to time it. But like I said, you'll have an alignment nipple that I showed you earlier. And what you have to do is basically, now see that one's not aligned. You're going to have to, it's hard to show you on the camera. I don't really know how to get the camera in there. But basically, you're going to want that alignment shaft. You're going to want this wiper shaft to be in line with that alignment nipple on the piston when the screw is pointing straight up and down. Okay, so you're going to basically be like 3 alignment nipples. So sometimes it takes a little short. So this one's 1 tooth off. I got to go 1 tooth over. So we're going to take this out. Like I said, sometimes it's sometimes I get lucky and I pay attention right and it's there the first time. Sometimes, like when I'm fucking with a camera. Yeah, no, not that one. Move that over 1 tooth. Ooh, that looks good. That looks juicy. And once I get this thing in here, I'll show you the fail-safe of how you're going to know it's done the right way. All right, there it is. All right, I probably should have showed you this ahead of time, but I didn't have this thing apart. If you look, when these are timed properly, when they're all the way to the left, you'll just have a little bit of space here. What you can do when you take it apart is put it all the way to the left. Just make a little timing mark, see? So it's horizontal and parallel. And then when it goes all the way over here, you know, you're not going to be able to see what this is going to do. This is going to stop against the valve housing and it'll build pressure. But generally, it's going to be about like that. Almost the point here is almost going to be parallel with the horizontal line here, whatever the hell this is, like a support rib. All right. So like I said, if you do it right the first time, which I usually don't have a problem, but I'm trying to do this on the camera here for you guys, and it's kind of really distracting to me. All right. So anyway, we're going to tighten that screw up now. Oh, that's actually the screw for the other shaft. Let's take that out. Get out of there. Oh, there we go. Don't want to lose our timing. But again, you'll find through the different manufacturers, certain ones, there's little slight differences. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing, which mismatch parts, unless you know what you're doing. I'm going to do it because I'm used to doing shit like this. Sometimes you just got to shuck and jive. So, all right, now you got your housings together, your 3 ribs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is the transfer rib. Line up with the 3 nipples. Obviously, the red button be pointing out with the wiper arm. We're going to bolt this together. And then what I'm going to do is, maybe I'll hook this up to an air hose. Show you how this goes to get, how this functions now. So, that's it for all this shit shuck and jive. Again, I'm not going to lie, I'm only about 90% sure that this is going to work out because I'm mismatching parts, but I'm 90% sure, better than not. So. As most of you guys know, there are a few variation wiper motors. I can't say I've really ever fucked with mismatching parts, but I mean, kind of irritates me. I had a brand new motor, came in a part slot. Like I said, I could have reused this treadle valve body, but I wanted to try something different here, and that was to see if we could swap parts, what will fit, what won't. All right, so we're together there. I'm going to turn the video on pause for a minute so I can charge my air compressor, and then we'll see if we can fire this up. All right, guys, so I did a quick test, and kind of much as I suspected, switching out these different manufacturers' valve bodies did not work because there was a slight variation in the holes. I mean, we're talking like a 0.5 millimeter, but so anyway, real quick off camera, all I did is swap the valve body that had the damaged exit port back on. Nothing that's going to really, I didn't feel like wasting another 3 or 4 minutes showing that because it wasn't going to change anything, you know, in the video. Everything that you saw me do is correct and the same. Just unfortunately that was not going to work. So anyway, that's back to time again. You still have the same marks you see. And then this one, you know. So pop our little cap back on. I got my little tester port here. Tighten this air hose connector up. And then there we go. Like I said, that's why I was going to change this exit port here. It's a little noisier than normal because the little limiter valve had broken off. Or not valve, the little elbow. There you go. There's your, you can go real slow. Hard to regulate it using the sprayer. So that's how you rebuild one. Like I said, if the treadle valve is bad, shuttle valve, whatever you want to call it, you're probably screwed. I guess I'm not going to be able to do anything with this assembly, unfortunately, because I can't I don't know. I'm not really sure how I could possibly get a bracket to stick to this. I'm definitely not going to bust up a good one to attempt to make this one work. So I guess I'll just put all these in a bag, and these will go in the parts lot. Maybe I'll find one day a manufacturer with this same, this exact dimensions. One problem with the military shit is 5 different companies can be contracted to make a part, and they all have just the teeniest little variations. So we got a good one here. We'll put in the bin of spare parts, and that'll be it, guys. I'm gonna get out of here.